Hey guys, thanks for coming to hang out here on the sessions. A friendly reminder that you can hang out with me in more than one place because I'm also on AMP. Just download the app, come hang out with us Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Just get a little more sessions in your life. We all need it. Okay, so you're in AEW. Things are going great. Everyone loves Willow. Let's get into the death match that you guys just had. Holy shit. Holy hell. We were just out at the forum in LA. You teaming up with Ruby, taking on Ty and Anna. Just unbelievable. You guys beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. What is your reaction? Okay, so how do you feel post-match?
Very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's been the toughest part for me is that I like to uphold my work and what I do in a wrestling ring to a certain standard. And that includes the way I execute moves, the safety of my opponents, and generally, if I just feel like it clicked, like what did it flow well? Did it feel right? And at the end of the match, I definitely know that it was something very special. Um, but I think obviously that one, Ruby was bleeding like crazy, which I looked over to her and I was like, "You look awesome!" Right in the middle of the match, like when I finally saw her cover, I was like, "You look awesome." Uh, a lot of people online maybe didn't take it that way. They might have
We'll
thought it was,
get into that after this. I would
yeah. I was like,
love to
interesting,
discuss
but
that.
I am like, what a badass! And the table spot with Anna, right?
Yeah.
Like that has been a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
and before even getting anybody's response to it, it was the thing that when I walked back through the curtain, I was immediately like, "Where's Anna? Is she okay?" And she was like, I'm fine. I'm gonna go to the doctor right now because they have to check me out, but I'm okay." And I was like, "Are you sure?" And
Yeah.
and then I'm checking in on everybody else and like talking with our producer, and they take us back and stuff. But it was just like, to me, uh that those were the two things that I was just like most worried about, and it left me very emotional because I felt like I was just worried about the other people I was in the ring with, and I don't think that I had upheld the elements that I respect or expect from myself.
Okay.
So it was just very emotional for me, where I was like, what did I
But
do?"
then you also have like the days from like you guys had the match on Wednesday. There's it's no secret that that was a taped
Oh God,
match
yeah.
on Wednesday that airs on Friday for Rampage. So you have the days of kind of sitting with it, and now the world's gonna see it. What
This
were
is
like those days in between like?
this is always the thing. Anytime I'm on Rampage, it's like there's this second wave of anxiety that hits because yes, there's show day chaos and you're wrapped up in everything that you're doing, and but then like right before you go out, you get the butterflies. It's like it's showtime, time to do the thing. I don't know how it's going to be. And then it's over. But then you have to wait 2 more days to wait and see how everybody reacts, and it's like
Yeah.
this just like gut wrenching, like what's the response? Like that is a different kind of nerve.
It's very stressful because yeah, it's like I mean, I guess like on one hand, of course, it's the theater side of things. You are in front of a live crowd. You can see how people are responding there, but then it's what does it look like on camera? How are people going to take to everything? Which now brings me into the second wave of the conversation of
Yes.
what everyone was saying, the reaction to the amount of blood, what the match was, that style of match, and as much as like God, women's wrestling has just progressed so much in the past, 10 years, especially. And as it continues to morph and change in what we see and what those matches look like, I was honestly very surprised at what the reaction was to people essentially just not wanting to see women bleed.
Yeah.
What's up with what's your take on that?
I had to take a little sip of water because this is a lot.
We got time. Roll up your sleeves.
um, yeah, I we were honestly all very excited to be given the opportunity to do something like this. Anna and Ty have already done this a year ago on television. They had a lot of fun with it, and there are limits, I guess, on how grotesque it's allowed to be. And I can only speak from my experience. I don't know if this is the case with other matches, other tag matches, or men's wrestling or anything. I don't know what those conversations are like. I only know the conversations that we had. And for us, it was one person from each team was allowed to bleed.
Okay.
We all wanted to get our hands dirty and we all wanted to do crazy stuff, but it was like, we can't go overboard. And so we were like, okay, understood. And we didn't have to worry about it because Ruby blamed up for everybody. But I mean, I thought it was awesome. I thought she looked killer. She thought she looked great. You know, she had to get stitched up after I held her hand as they injected the like anesthetic and everything. I was like, oh my God, you're so tough. But we were just really excited about everything. And I think that if people are getting their panties in a bunch about it, like that's the least of your concerns. Like, we bleed every single month. Nobody talks about that. I'm sure if that had happened or whatever, like, people would make a big deal about that too, right? Like, if somebody were to bleed through their gear. But
sure.
Like, that's a part of life. This is like, we bleed the same as men do. This is, we take the same bumps in the ring as they do. We're at the same risk as they are. So I don't understand why there has to be a double standard about physically seeing blood.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was really surprising to me. And like you said, I think it's the level of what it is. Because if you look at like Britt and Thunder Rosa and how much blood was in that match, to, you know, we've seen it before. I mean, even there are different circumstances, of course. Or, you know, I was going to say, like, even the time, you know, when Becky Lynch took that hit and she was bleeding everywhere. And that's essentially when the man was kind of born, when she's like in the crowd heading into Survivor Series and she's got like blood dripping down her face. That was, you know, a little bit more of an accidental situation, but yeah, it's just very interesting, the levels of how people react to things. And I guess, I mean, it does happen in the men's matches to a certain degree as well. Like, I remember when, you know, Dustin and Cody were having their match and Dustin was just bleeding. I was like, oh my God, is he okay? There's the levels of it. And then you have somebody like my husband who, like, God, I've seen the varying degrees for him throughout the duration of his career as well. So it's very funny how people react to blood in general. But yeah, I mean, I was very surprised at what some of the conversations that I was seeing online of people that were just like appalled that women were bleeding in their match. It was, again, like, I mean, women's wrestling just continues to grow and change and morph and become this new thing. And it's funny when you hit these certain roadblocks and people are like, no, now that's too much. Don't do that. But hey, it happened and it was fucking great.
I mean, ultimately it's what we signed up for.
Yeah.
We were aware of this possibility.
Yeah.
Right? So